Hello, Anton here, and I have one of the horror pack unboxings. So, I get both the DVD and the Blu-ray one, so I'm assuming it's the Blu-ray one by the size that it is in the box. It's a little bit smaller, a little bit wider. Well, it's October, so a lot of the boxes are going horror crazy, so let's see what Horror Pack did for the month of October. Let's see what they sent us. First thing they sent us is The Purge, which is one that I never actually got around to watching or seeing, so that's good because I don't own it. Next, I was distracted by the look on the cover and the fact that it says Late Night Double Feature. Oh, it is a Horror Pack limited edition. So I am back for the second part of the October Blu-ray Horror Pack, which is sort of the evaluation and pricing section. And as always, I go in order of how excited I was to receive these, with the most excited one being the last one. So the first one that we got was Children of the Corn, which is based upon a story by Stephen King. In Gatlin, Nebraska, a couple becomes stranded, and there they encounter a town that has no adults and a kid that are part of some twisted religious cult, and horror ensues. Well, you get the corn, being stranded in the middle of nowhere, and creepy kids. What more do you need for a horror movie? The reason that it got its spot is because I own this on DVD. I don't own it on Blu-ray, which is a good thing, but I do own it on DVD. So you can find this movie on Amazon for right around $7.50. And on eBay, it's going for right about $8 to $10. So next up, we have The Purge, which, as the box says, it is the Blu-ray and DVD pack. And it did come with a digital download, which I, of course, tried before doing this, and it did work. So the Purge, all crime is legal for 12 hours. James, Mary, and the family must find a way to make it through the night, and this is quoting, without turning into the monsters from whom they hide. Well, I always have to give props to anyone who uses the word whom. So this movie is going for $7 to $10 on eBay and $7.50 on Amazon. And it got its spot just because I really like to find out about the lower budget ones that I wouldn't find out without getting the pack. So that's why I got that spot. The third one is Dolly Deadly, signed by the director Heidi Moore. I thought it kind of looked like a Heidi, but I thought I'd double check on the name, just because people's signatures aren't always the way they'd sign things. They aren't always as legible as other things, and it's good to just look those things up. Well, I just found this on the top of the cover. It says, "Sticks and stones may break your bones, but Benji's gonna kill you." So that's a little back on top. And I'm just gonna read from this because it actually has a fairly short synopsis that's pretty good. The story of Deadly Dolly revolves around the warped psychology of a tormented young boy who can only relate to his doll collection. And the only relief from the pain in his life comes with slaughtering those who he has learned to hate the most. Everyone in his trailer park. So it's looking to be sort of like in the low budget genre, and it's looking like it's using more practical effects, and it's that you find in older movies as opposed to trying to use CGI, which is just one of those things. Find it interesting that it is the horror pack one, but yeah, it's got a full UPC on the bottom. It's right next to the horror. That's the barcode. Anyway, so this movie is $21 on Amazon, and that is coming from Legless Corpse Films. I love that title. I love that name. But that is the company that's putting this out. So if you go to their website, you can buy it for that same price. I think there were other types of versions that you could get, like a DVD version, and I think there might also have been like a digital download rental. But since it is actually from someone who's putting out the movie, selling it on Amazon, I assume that there'd be a bunch of copies that you'd be able to get. So I'm actually going to use that as like the Amazon price. Plus, it was the only one up there. So then on eBay, you've got it going from around $14.50 to $20. And I wouldn't be surprised if, some of those are people who got this pack and are selling them. So then the fourth and final one that we got, and to be honest, it got its spot solely based on that facial expression. It amused me to the point that it got the top spot. This one is the Horror Pack Limited Edition. It has another release of sorts. It isn't out yet, which might be why there's no barcode, but I find that interesting. Because I'm weird and I look at those things. And I'm going to read from this one because it seemed to do a nice job there too. Where Hollywood dreams go to die, your host, Dr. Nasty, brings his audience a late-night double feature bill of the strange and terrifying. First up is Dinner for Monsters, where a chef is hired to cook a meal for clients with a unique appetite. Next up is Slit, where a sadist for hire must survive a serial killer on the loose. Once the films end, backstage drama and bloody chaos ensues, with the cast of Dr. Nasty's cavalcade of horrors as hearts are broken, dreams are smashed, and arteries are spliced open. What more could you ask for? So for this one, the prices were between $13 to $14 on eBay, and I think those are both, people who are trying to sell it from this pack. And then on Amazon, I found it for $35, but it actually isn't going to be released until December. So maybe part of the horror pack thing is that it gets released early. So then to go over the pricing for all of this, the Blu-ray pack is $24.99 a month, and that does include the shipping. So on the low end, you've got the $42, and on the high end, you've got $76. And the $76 has some of those, much higher priced, or it has that really high priced late night double feature pre-order price, which I'm guessing will probably go down at some point. So I thought I'd do a couple of things differently this month and add a couple of different prices, just to add more numbers, because I know people love numbers. I did one for If the Pack Didn't Exist, and I got between $70.50 and $76 because the cheaper values on Late Night Double Feature and Sally Deadly come from people who are trying to sell copies that they received. So no pack, those copies wouldn't have been received and wouldn't have been on eBay to be priced. Of course, the two movies that have their larger releases, Children of the Corn and the Purge, they would have been around $14.50 to $20. And then I thought I'd do, one where it's like looking at Amazon and just doing the prices that you find on Amazon, because that's an easy search. I go to eBay and Amazon when I, search for things just to double check to try and get a lower price. But I know it's really easy to just go to Amazon. So I figured that would be the base price. A movie could never really go higher than when you could find it on Amazon as like their standard price, that you could just get as many copies as you wanted, really. So for that one, I got $70.50, mainly because the high price of the pre-order was on the Amazon one, and also the Dolly Dearest, I believe there was one up there, and that was fairly expensive. I figured I could just look. Oh, yeah, Dolly Dearest, the one that was up there by the production company. So those help to increase the price of Amazon's for this month and this pack. So I don't know how much it'll do it in the future, but thought it'd be nice just to have Amazon sort of as a base level of, not going higher. So, overall, the value of this pack really comes down to really one major factor, and that is, are you a person who is only a fan of the big budget ones, or the classic movies that have larger releases? In which case, this pack you probably wouldn't have been the most excited about. But then on the other hand, if you're one of those people more like me who likes to find, movies that don't have, as large a budget to advertise, or, are very low budget and don't have as wide releases and things that you wouldn't necessarily find on your own, then the value of it increases, because the movies that they send are ones that you would want. Because without it, if you just wanted the larger budget ones, then you'd be paying. You'd really only want like the $14.50 to $20, which you'd have on the major budget ones, and then you'd spend money on other things. So the pack really wouldn't be what you'd want. However, like if you really do want those low budget movies, they toss it in there, and you never really have to worry about going, man, that movie looks interesting. It's kind of pricey because it can be expensive to put out a movie, because you have a copy, so you don't have to worry about that. And you can watch and enjoy them. So if you do like those lower budget movies, then you really are getting a pretty good value for these movies, and especially this month. And so it is up to you to decide what type of movies you like to watch. So it's up to you to decide what movies you want. I think that this is a pretty good grab bag, mainly because I only owned one of them, and I only owned it on DVD. So that is the Blu-ray horror pack for the month of October 2016.